Run, let's do this.
Let the steam go.
So we've just touched on. Hi everyone, welcome to Little Lady Locks YouTube channel. I'm Ashla, the Little Lady Locks founder, and this is Olivia. Most of you know her as Ollie, and she does the social media, the admin, and everything else. The amazing story about Ollie is she was a little lady herself 12 months ago, and then we're going to have a chat today just about her hair loss journey, when she started at Little Lady Locks, and yeah, just some little girly chats. So Ollie, what does it feel like to be in the hot seat?
I'm a bit nervous, but I'm excited to get my story out.
Oh, I'm excited too. Can't wait for everyone to hear your journey here, and now you're working for the charity yourself.
I know.
So those who don't know your story, do you want to tell us about your hair loss?
So I found my first patch on October 18th, 2021, and I was only 17, and it was about the size of a 5p.
Right. How did you feel?
I remember seeing the clump of hair in the shower,
Yeah.
but I didn't realise what it was.
Yeah.
So then when I got out the shower, I didn't think about that clump of hair, and then I was blow drying my hair, and then found the first patch, and then it put two and two together, and that was the clump of hair that had come out, and that was the patch.
So that was me. I probably might have thought, oh, is it like a knot? Or
Yeah.
So at first, was you instantly alarmed, or did you just think, oh, maybe I've pulled on my hair? Or
I just remember my heart dropping. I remember the feeling, and like it was just instant heartbreak.
Yeah. So, if you tell the viewers, how old was you then at that point?
I was 17.
17, yeah. And so obviously you'd left school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what was you doing? Did you have a job?
At that time, I was under a lot of stress because I'd just left my first ever job. And
what was that doing?
Hairdressing.
Oh,
so I've always done hairdressing.
Right, okay.
That's always what I've wanted to do. And then I left that job, and about a week later, that's when I found my first patch. So I do think a bit of stress triggered it.
Yeah. But once you found your first patch, did you go to the doctors, or did you just deal like?
I rang the hospital straight away because I had an appointment that day over the phone, a telephone appointment, and I mentioned it to him straight away. I was in hysterics, crying, didn't know what to do.
After the 5p piece, like what happened next? Was it days, weeks, months later? Was you constantly checking?
Yeah, so I tried not to check because it was just worrying me. I wanted that to be out of my mind. I didn't want to believe it was true.
Yeah.
So then about a few weeks had passed, and then I finally looked in the mirror and got a picture. Like I held the camera above my head to get a picture, and it had grown to the size of a £2.
Right, okay,
Fine. That's when I noticed like it's grown.
And obviously doing hairdressing and being passionate about hair, you would have heard of alopecia and hair loss.
Yeah.
So I think to the everyday public, they might have just dismissed it, but you actually working in hair.
Yeah, and because when I was 12, I had a little patch in my eyebrow.
Okay.
And I didn't know, I just brushed it off, I didn't know what it was. And then this eyebrow would just go. It'd just fall off, but I'd still have an eyebrow on this one. So I'd just draw that back on. Then when that would grow back, this one would go.
Okay.
So then when I found my patch, I sort of thought, oh, it's gone into my hair.
Right,
so alopecia actually affected my eyebrows before it affected my hair.
Okay. Oh, I've not heard of that before.
Yeah.
When did you say that it started to like be visible, and like you was trying to find, find it hard to cover up, and was people noticing more like when did it start becoming like a big issue?
So, because I found my first patch in October, I'd say by the following February, the year after, it had grew like all over the top of my head. But I wore a side part, I'd flick my hair.
Right, okay.
So then I'd just flick it. But then one time, I was like out with my friends, and one of my friends said, "What's that on your head?" And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I didn't know, like, that's when it got real, like people are seeing it. But then I started wearing my hair like, you know, on the half up, half down.
Right, so you're just trying your best with different styles just to cover it at first.
Yeah.
And how was you feeling about other people knowing about it? Did you kind of want to keep it a secret, or did you kind of think, what was your thoughts going through your head at that time?
So I didn't want anyone to know, but then when it started to get visible, I didn't want people to ask the questions because I never knew what to say.
Yeah.
So then that's when I decided I wanted to get it out there.
Right.
And instead of people asking, oh, what's that? They already know and no questions need to be asked. No one needs to look.
Right, okay.
That's what I thought in my head would help.
So when you said get it out there, what happened? What did you do?
So I posted a video showing my alopecia and just to a song that I love.
Yeah.
So
was it a bit like a story, like pictures of the hair loss getting worse?
So it was me basically, it was a video, like a hands-free video, and I was just showing my patches, showing them the back, just all in one clip. It was about 40 seconds long, and it was a video of me showing it, and then how I style it and how I cover it.
Did you get positive, negative feedback, or was it all like uplifting, or was you nervous?
It was really uplifting. I don't think I had any bad comments. A lot of people was there for me, and I was so surprised how many people said it's happening to them too.
Oh, really?
Because I've never spoke to anyone that had been through it.
Yeah.
And everyone, like quite a lot of people related.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you put the video, is that when your little lady locks journey started?
Yeah, so that's when my little lady locks journey started, because your little brother Reese sent me a message to say that you own a charity, and then that's when I messaged you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so if you just want to run through briefly like what happened, like for anyone out there who's not sure how our services work, so like just go through what you remember of what happened.
Yeah, I remember speaking to my mum, and she was just over the moon, because as a parent you just feel helpless that you can't do anything. You don't really get the answers from the hospitals, so I remember reaching out to you, and you said, do you want to come in for a consultation?
Yeah, I remember it.
And then me and my mum both came. My mum was by my side all the time.
Yeah.
And you told me like a hair replacement system will be best.
Yes.
That's what you want to do.
I remember me and your mum crying, didn't we?
I was just
It was like, Ollie's not crying and we're crying.
I just I think at that point I was just like, I just didn't know. I didn't know what was going on.
So then it was fitting day. I remember you come along with Harry, didn't you? Your friend.
Yeah, my best friend Harry came with me.
Yeah. So talk me through the fitting day, the night before. What was you feeling? Anxious? Was you feeling excited?
I literally couldn't sleep, because after so many months of being on your own and then speaking to someone that sees it daily.
Yeah.
But not even just that, just that I don't have to worry what's going on. It's covered. I don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
And this was it now. I didn't have to, it weren't in my mind anymore. I found the solution.
Can you remember any feelings on the day? What, like when you left the salon?
I remember when I left the salon, I literally didn't stop smiling. I was crying a lot, but it was just happy tears.
Yeah.
And I think it was so overwhelming because it was a big change. So I went from one big change to losing my hair to another big change to getting hair back.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing.
So then we did a couple of maintenances, and then I remember you telling me that your eyebrows and eyelashes started falling, and that's obviously one of the signs that the hair loss is progressing. And I do remember the patch on the back, it started spreading up, didn't it? So I said, I think it'd be best if we remove the system, put some hair on a headband. Obviously you brought a bandana in, the Ollie bandana that we now named it after. And then how did you feel when I said we're going to have to take it off? Because although we know it's an amazing feeling being given the hair, to be then told it has to be taken off, I can imagine as like the opposite effect. And I just wanted to know how that made you feel.
I just remember when you said like we're going to have to take it off. I don't even think I said anything. I was like...
Did you kind of feel that it was going to go that way because your eyelashes and your eyelashes, so you kind of knew it was going to come to that? Yeah,
because I actually remember before we booked that appointment, you messaged me and said, I think your maintenance is due, and I was avoiding booking it in because I knew what was about to happen and I didn't want it to happen.
Yeah. Oh. So after we did the hats and headbands, you became 18 and then obviously you didn't qualify for the services, so it's kind of like our paths just went separate ways. And then I remember I got a message from you just saying, I just thought I'd let you know that you've braved the shave.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the most emotional part, not just for me but for everyone around me. So I remember just saying, sorry, I'm getting...
No. Have a glass of water. Obviously, I'll just sit with you. Come on.
I'm getting upset.
Sorry, go on.
I remember just finishing work, so I was working in another salon. I decided it was ready to go back to hair. I can't keep showing it away. So then I finished work, I come home and it was like 2-3 days before Christmas. And I just went into my dad's room and said, can I use your clippers?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, what? Everyone in the house was just like, what you doing? And
what was your hair loss like at this time?
It was literally like...
If you worked on a percentage, how much percentage would you say of natural hair you had left?
I'd say I had around 5% left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so as much as I didn't want to let go, it was just time.
Yeah.
I had to.
That's such a big step and such a brave step.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you was taking control though?
Yeah, it felt good to take control. So as much as it was the most emotional part, it was the most bravest part in my eyes, I think.
Yeah. So then after then you looked into wigs, and they're so expensive, aren't they?
They're so dear. My dad paid around over £1,000 for my first ever wig, and because of the price I thought it's going to be worth it. That's going to be the best one, it's going to last me years. And with that wig, the hair worked great and it was shedding and it felt like I was reliving my alopecia again.
Yeah.
And that was definitely one of the hard parts as well, especially even getting the confidence to actually get up and wear a wig, go out the house. I remember the first time I actually went out the house and wore one. I went to B&M's with one of my friends and it was the first time I'd ever left with the wig. And I was so paranoid, I was just like touching my head, I didn't know what to do. I was just so paranoid about people looking at me, but no one looked.
So this time when obviously you'd saying that you felt like you was reliving your alopecia again, with your wig shedding and stuff, was this a time when you were shutting yourself off? And if you think back now to that time, like what can you remember?
I just remember being in my room. I weren't eating properly. I weren't doing things that a normal 18-year-old's doing. I seen social media had such a big impact on my journey because you see all these beautiful girls and you just want to be them. And when you don't look a certain way, it's just so it's so much pressure. So I just thought, I don't look like these people. I had to take all my mirrors down in my room because I couldn't look at myself. So
You felt better shutting off, just trying not to. I suppose it felt alone. You felt alone because no one else is going through that with you.
No one got it. So I was sleeping for 19 hours of the day and was just going to sleep. I thought, if I go to sleep, my problems are solved. I was just in such an unhealthy mindset. I literally didn't leave the house. I couldn't come out of my room. It was hard enough going downstairs and having kitchen windows and people thinking people are looking in, or if a family visitor came round, I'd put my dressing gown with my hood on. I literally couldn't even look at myself.
That sounds heartbreaking. So if you want to tell people when you then come back to Little Lady Lock.
Yeah, so I seen when you posted on social media that you're looking for someone to help you, and straight away I just knew I'm ready to come back.
I remember when you messaged me and it's like I instantly knew, I thought, right, obviously going to get the people in for interviews, and then as soon as you messaged me, I thought, like, this is just fate. Like, someone helping me at Little Lady Locks, who has been a little lady herself, like, how more special, like, could that have been? So instantly, as soon as you messaged me, like, I didn't want to be like, right, you start tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, like, you'd already been in the salon, everyone in the salon, all the staff loved you, and I just thought you could bring so much, like, feedback, input and everything to the charity.
Yeah.
So that was January this year.
Yeah.
And since then, so if you just want to tell everyone, like, what you do at the charity, what you started off doing.
Yeah, so I remember on my first day with you and your mum, Michelle, I was so nervous, but as soon as I got here, it didn't matter. I forgot about the nerves. It was completely fine. I remember my dad having a pep talk with me, and I didn't even need it because I'm so comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And like my daily task was like the admin, doing the messages.
Yeah. And then we've just kind of, well, so then you've gone on your social media course, so you're currently doing that at college, and you're just working the socials, responding to parents. How do you think that's impacted you, like speaking to the parents every day?
I think that's probably one of my favourite parts of the job, because I seen the impact it had on my parents, and because they didn't have someone to speak to for me, they couldn't ask another person with alopecia because they didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
So I think it is special for the parents to actually speak to someone that's relating.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part, and I love sharing. I like to talk about it. I think that's one of the most important things. I don't think me posting a video is what people need to do. I think just speaking or following girls on Instagram with alopecia, that really helped me as well. Just relating and talking, it helps so much.
I suppose you don't feel alone.
Yeah.
So when you started in January, it's literally gone from strength to strength at the charity, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So was it March you got nominated?
For the Young Person's Award, yeah. So in March I was nominated for the Young Person's High Sheriff Award.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got told you were in the final three, so you need to expect it on the day when you're getting your award. So I didn't know if I was going to be first, second, third, I didn't have a clue. And I remember on the day, it was me, your mum, my mum, and my sisters. And we was hearing all these other people's stories of how they've helped and why they've been nominated.
Yes, so just to touch on those who haven't heard of it, it's basically young people who are really basically making a change. So some stories that were heard was people like volunteering at hospitals or saving people's lives. So just really it was a bit like Pride of Britain, but for young people wanting like every story was just so moving, and it was really nice to see the impact that the next generation are having. So I remember just being there really nervous for you, and we knew that you was in the top three, so even that was just such a great accomplishment already, wasn't it? And then what happened?
And then I remember when it got to the final three, and third person name was said, and I was like, right, I think I'm going to be second. And then the second person name was read, and then I remember us all like, you've won!
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Grace Manchester Young Citizen of the Year is Olivia McMahon.
And then they said, the winning person is Olivia McMahon. And I just remember looking at my mum, and my mum doesn't show emotion, but this day she was just like, wow. And I think listening to the other people's stories there, that what they're doing, I think it emphasised my story and sort of why I deserved it a little bit.
No, because I think when you're listening to your own story, you're not realising how significant it is, are you, or the impact that it has to others. But you got nominated just because you put yourself out there. You're showing the world your alopecia, and you was trying to help other people by spreading awareness. And then you come and worked at the charity, now helping other girls in your position. So it was well deserved, and honestly, I couldn't be more proud of you. So since March, we've been pretty much planning for the charity ball. So each year, well, this is the second year that we've done it, we've organised a charity ball to raise awareness and funds for the charity. Like, this is so important for us because no one's really heard of us. You know, we've got under 5,000 followers on Instagram, and because we don't receive government funding or grants, we just rely on our supporters to raise money to cover the wig costs. So this year I thought, you know, we'll try and do it on a bigger scale. So we did it at the Midland Hotel in Manchester, which is just a phenomenal just event place, isn't it? I don't know what to call it. It's an amazing hotel. So yes, how did you find doing the charity ball?
I think it was just so exciting, like, because I'd never been to one before and I was just planning one.
Yeah.
So I did struggle with a few things.
Yeah.
But obviously I've always got you to help me with things like that. But no, it was so exciting. Just I kept imagining in my head what it was going to be like. So
it's such a success, and I remember asking you, I was like, I do a speech, I stand up and tell everyone what the charity's about, our goals and where we want to be. And I said, how do you feel standing up, you know, as a little lady and as now a Little Lady Locks employee? How do you feel standing up doing a speech in front of 300 people? And you said, yeah. So I was so proud of you, so proud. And how did it make you feel? Because you stood up there with so much confidence. Like, I couldn't believe that girl who started in January was stood up there. Like, it was so good. Tell me about it.
I think once I got up there, the words was just coming out. Obviously I had it written, but I just felt more comfortable because there was just so much love in one room. And we was all there for the same reason, to support people like me going through this. So that comforted me. And I remember after, I was listening back to my speech, and I ended up getting just overwhelmed with, like, because this time last year was when I locked myself away. I weren't doing anything, and to do something like that, I am proud of myself. I don't say it a lot, but I am.
I'm proud of you as well. So we've got so many plans, more charity balls, more events. And I think it's just about, that's why we wanted to do the YouTube. I think every story, you know, needs to be heard. People just kind of have the perception that hair loss happens to older people or people who are younger or children. It's not affecting their mental health, and I think that's the strong message that I want to get across is, you know, people just think that it's just hair, but it's not just hair. The mental side that it affects is just enormous. So we've got so many plans, including our little new thought. Well, you thought of it. I can't take any credit whatsoever. So tell them about our little new idea this week that we've trialled.
Yeah, so me, from being a little lady, I want to give them the answers that I was looking everywhere for and couldn't get.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be just a good idea before the wig fitting appointments. I speak to them, tell them my favourite products, have like a bit of like
a one-to-one.
A one-to-one, just so that they can relate and feel a bit more comfortable that we get it, we understand.
And I think you bringing them in the room, you know, saying you've been here, you've been in their shoes, like, are you struggling with anything? Like, is an instant, like reflection on their, you know, like you tell them your stories, your ups, your downs, and I think it's like just instantly comforting for them, isn't it? Rather than me coming in and saying, you know, oh, I'm going to fit your hair, and, you know, I try and make them at ease, but I think someone who's been through hair loss is so more relatable.
Yeah.
I'm going to make them feel instantly comfortable. So we trialled it this week with Maddie, didn't we? And how did that go? Well, go on, if you tell.
It was amazing. I think even the one-to-ones don't just help the little ladies and the parents, it's helping me. Yeah. Because it's just so important to get the help that you need, because as someone that's going through alopecia, I can say confidently, there's no help for alopecia.
Yeah.
It's not known, like people know about it, but no one knows. No one understands unless you're going through it.
Yeah, and I think the stat now is like 1 in 50 people will experience alopecia at some point in their
Yeah.
life. So I think because it wasn't previously talked about,
Yeah.
I think people thought it was this like really small percentage.
Yeah.
So I think now speaking, some of the little ladies are now comfortable being on camera and letting them share the stories, which is like having a massive effect on our social media and
Yeah.
sharing stories. So I think that's such a good impact. So we'll wrap it up here before I'm just a crying mess. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone, you know, who did come to the charity ball. Everyone who supports us, supports our daily posts. Like, we really do mean that together we can make a difference, and we couldn't do this without you. You know, it's just us and my mum, isn't it, trying to make this charity grow. So your support really does mean a lot to us, and just us getting these stories out there, we hope that you're enjoying them. So, is there anything that you want to maybe say to any little ladies that might be watching, or any little Ollies before they
Yeah, it's like I said in the ending of my speech. Just keep going, and when you look back you realise just how far you've come, and it's so important, because when I look back it is emotional, but I'm proud, and all these little girls are going to be happy like me again, and they're going to find the way.
Aww. Give us a good